Let me recall a wise custom of the ancient Holy Fathers. When greeting each other, they did not ask about health or anything else, but rather about prayer, saying, "How is your prayer?" The activity of prayer was considered by them to be a sign of the spiritual life, and they called it the breath of the Spirit. If the body has breath, it lives. If breathing stops, life comes to an end. So it is with the Spirit. If there is prayer, the soul lives. Without prayer, there is no spiritual life. Prayer is so profound that an Orthodox theologian wrote, "When I pray, I was new, but when I stopped praying, I became old." Prayer then is understood as a way to renew the spiritual life. Prayer is being alive in God. Prayer gives strength and should be the ultimate joy we have in our lives. Prayer then should guide the way we live. Prayer lifts us from our isolation and depressed state to a loving communion with God in which everything we experience is brought forth in the light of God. Prayer then is a personal dialogue with God, which allows us to pour forth our hearts to God. Prayer will be true and faithful in form once we stop saying the same words from our mouth and start speaking the language of God, which is pouring out of our hearts in constant prayer. Not every act of prayer is prayer. Standing at home before your icons or here in the church and venerating them is not yet a prayer, but just the equipment of prayer. Reading prayers, either by heart or from a book, or hearing someone else read them is not yet a prayer, but only a tool or a method for obtaining and awakening prayer. Prayer itself is the piercing of our hearts by pious feelings towards God, one after another, the feelings of humility, submission, gratitude, doxology, forgiveness, heartfelt prostration, brokenness, conformity to the will of God, and the like. All of our efforts should be directed so that during our prayers, these feelings and feelings like them should fill our souls, so that the heart would not be empty when the lips are reading the prayers, or when the ears hear and the body bows in prostrations, but that there would be some qualitative feeling, some striving towards God. When these feelings are present, our prayer is a prayer, and when they are absent, it is not a prayer. The Church has always taught that God does not ask us to talk to Him with words, but rather that we should say what emanates from our beautiful souls. The beauty of the Church should express to us how important prayer is through the different lives and services the Church gives us. We have liturgy, our personal prayers, the prayers of the hours, prayers with icons, the Jesus prayer. All of these aspects propel us forward in our prayerful life. When these feelings are present, our prayer is a true prayer. When they are absent, it's not yet prayer. It seems that nothing should be simpler and more natural for us than prayer in which the heart is turned toward God. But in fact, it is not always like this for everybody. We must awaken and strengthen a prayerful spirit in ourselves. That is, we must bring up a prayerful spirit. This means that we need to read or listen to prayers. Pray as you should, and you will certainly awaken and strengthen the ascent of your heart toward God, and you will come into a spirit of prayer.